utility and multidimensional prayukta, which we used to call. When we want to use, we have to do. When we don't want, we must not do. So this type of capability in selection and control is what we call engineering. So imaginary engineering, everybody who is not having imagination, everybody is having imagination. And to say precisely, most of the people are made out of only imagination, nothing else. So imagination is there, but imaginary engineering is not there within them. They get lot of imaginations which are not required. They get imaginations, beautiful imaginations, when they pass out of the examination hall. So at the time of their requirement, at the time of their operation, to the skill that is expected, it should be a prospective imagination, it should be a progressive imagination, it should be a timely imagination, it should be a schematic imagination. This type of imagination is done by imaginary engineering, which may be inherent with most of the people. Most of the think tanks, most of the creative people, most of the cogitators, most of the pensive seers, and most of the very famous committed people with sacrifice and diligence, they are automatically attuned with this process of imaginary engineering. Otherwise, we have to develop this skill wherever we are demanded, where we don't have so much of options, we have to develop it with special skills. This is known as imaginary engineering. Imagination is a very great boon. Imagination and dream is a very great boon. Imagine, what is the difference between imagination and dream? If it is unorganized, that becomes an imagination. If it is organized with a concept, with a context, with character, with situation, with cogency, conclusion or continuity, it is known as dream. That is entirely different from this type of dream which comes in hypnology. That is imaginary engineering. This is hypnotic engineering, where we dream some unrelated things in our sleep. I am talking about that dream which comes out of curiosity, that which comes out of the burning zeal and commitment. That is what we call this type of imagination. There are two types of imagination. One is convertible, second is inconvertible or non-convertible imagination. And Abdul Kalam also said that we have to go for dreams. That is not night dreams, sweet dreams, or these artistic daydreams. Whatever we call it as dream is a systematized, organized way of productive imagination which is convertible. What is convertibility? You imagine for a particular period, then the imagination takes the form of action or planning, then it comes to execution, then it comes to hard work, then it comes to success in hands. This is known as convertible imagination, where it starts with imagination but gets it converted into planning, implementation and success and various other things. Non-convertible imagination is pure imagination. 24 hours till the end of the life, there is only imagination. It does not turn into action, it has no maturity at all. So, we have to tune, that is a special exercise. Unfortunately, wherever you go to school, in your normal school it is not being taught. In your normal inbuilt mechanism of self-suggestion, auto-suggestion or auto-pedagogy, even in that it is not taught. Even in your present syllabus of creative intelligence, you are given exercises for creative intelligence, you are given projects for creative intelligence, you are given tools for intelligence, but you are not given the spirit of creative intelligence either by your teachers or by your books or by any environment. That is the problem with the present society. So, we have to self-process with hard labor these type of things by means of advanced practice, for which we are trying to frame some syllabus. Basically, the world structure we used to call it as Jagat Vibhaga. The world structure itself is classified into various things. It starts with the bindu, what we call a dot. So everything starts with dot. So in our Chitrakala Shastra, there is a science for our ancient traditional painting, how to develop painting skills. For example, you can draw a system like this because it has lesser nuances, intricacies, but you cannot create a resemblant structure of a person. So to make a personal drawing or to make a casual drawing, for example, if you make a person to draw the structure of a farmer, he can do that. Any farmer, that is entirely different. But you specify a farmer and want him to do, then particularly that nasal curve, concave, convex, pit, projection, innumerable physiognomical characters are to be made. Where is the ball? Where is the gap? Where is the stab? Where is the mix? Where is the concrete? Where is the fat? Where is the concentrate? All of these chromatic, physiatic, physiobiotic, projective skills are to be made and scaped by people. And it requires a deeper type of imagination. And nobody can practice it. It should spring from the person's inner spirit. How it will be possible? So, everybody, they have classified these things into number one, dot. That's why the Shastra says, first, if you want to get proper skills of mechanical drawing, constructive drawing, decorative drawing, projective drawing, scape drawing, eco drawing, personal drawing, imaginary drawing, prognostic drawing, where you can draw about person. Now you are having prognostic drawing. No. By having a person's youth photo, you can just make how the makeups will look different. If the person is in disguise, how he may look different. In his old age, how he would have been. And in his smaller budding ages, how he would have been. So all of this multiple proportionate way of thinking about age variation, disguise variation, and a person's fitness and sickness variation, in innumerable angles a person's thing can be prognosticated. This type of drawing is known as prognostic drawing. And there were also Chitrakesha Shastra, by which a person's hair was taken for getting an impression about the structure, and people used to draw. It may be fictional or fallacious. Now nobody is doing like that. Even if a person is given, they will give you a hair to him. If a hair is given, they cannot create a person. So these type of things are there. They started with dot concentration. Whether we believe it or not, there are some practices. You take a dot in a plain surface and keep on concentrating without looking anything at all, no mantras, nothing else. So if a person has that Bindu Samyukta Dhyana, that type of deep meditation associated with a dot, the person can process into dot process in the form of lines, line in the form of curves and curvatures, that in the form of geometric extensions like spheres, cylinders, conical, everything is coming from the dot only. So that is a very great exercise. It is not a spiritual exercise, it is a mental and intellectual exercise. Everybody should start with that dot. So it starts with dot and line, second is color and tone, third is the shape, fourth is the form, fifth is the texture, sixth is the final touch. This is the essentialities of creative design. This is a basic pillar of creative design. So these things, before getting into projects, we have to concentrate on the basic elements, the pillars or the skeleton of creative drawing, without which we cannot go into the other things at all. So these are all the basic elements where we have to mix things with uniformity, unity, integrity, and the texture of the things to be mixed with the dimensional studies, shapes and sizes, the domination where we have to make, proximity where we have to make, resemblance and identity we have to make. These are all the various other sub-tools by which we are going to make use of these 6 major elements. This is what we call generally graphics. So whatever we have a systematized way of an organized platform wherein by things are represented in direct, indirect, flexible and rigid ways of motion, that is known as graph. And these type of variations or these type of aberrations from, there is only a circle and there is only a dot. In this we can create square, we can create trapezium, we can create rhombus. Everything is by the affinity, diversification, deviation or aberration, whatever you call, from the center point, from the radius, from the axis and orbit of these various perfect structures. So the Shastra says, in the Chitra Shastra, Purnam Dhyayet, Karanam tu Dhyeyaha. There are 2 sutras. If you want to create, no structure is regular. Your face is not regular, just regular 360 degrees. Nobody can have a face like that. It may not look like, it may not look nice also. So this type of all imperfect, semi-perfect and fused structures, whatever we are seeing, they are come from a Purna, that is a concept. So you have to start the practice with Purna. So a Bindu is a Purna, a Chakra is a Purna, and Shunya is a Purna, blank is Purna. So you have to concentrate on these exercises by which a person can easily arrive at, see, path of perfection plus path of minus path of deviation is equal to path of the irregular desirous design. If it is 78 degrees, then the perfect structure being triangular, it may be 90 degrees, or if it is a circular orbit, it may be 360 degrees. Taking into consideration that perfect structure, if you subtract the angle of irregularity, you will get the desirous element. So this is how the Shastras, they have initiated the process. So this type of thing starts from a skill known as visualization. How to see things. How to see things means we are seeing things.